Hey guys, it's Francisca back with another piñata video. For today I will be creating Pinocchio. So as you guys can see right here, I do have a large image printed onto multiple pages. Basically what I did is downloaded an image to my phone, then from there I uploaded it back online to this website, which pretty much creates transfers it into like a larger poster size where it divides it into pages, and all you got to do is print it out. So now that I have these, I'm gonna go ahead and tape them all together, kind of like a puzzle, keep them in place, and then I will be cutting them out.
I made a little mistake. I wasn't supposed to cut it because I wasn't supposed to cut it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and overlap and stick everything on.
Like any other person, I do make my mistakes. If you guys saw, I went ahead and took the first page and cut the little edge off of it. I wasn't supposed to do that. I was just supposed to overlap, and that's what I am doing now. We learn from our mistakes. This was the first time that I ever printed an image. I am used to drawing them, but hey, it came out pretty okay. I'm gonna go ahead and join them together, as I said, using some tape.
If you guys know me, I usually draw them out first.
When you print out the image, for some reason it's missing like that little gap, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take a pen and join it together. So if there's something that I don't like to do is waste material. So right here, as you guys see, the Pinocchio is missing a top corner, which I didn't think it was necessary for me to print that page. It would have just been me wasting paper, and then at the bottom there would have been like a whole nother row of 3 sheets of paper. So what I decided to do to not waste too many materials was just cut out a little piece of paper, draw on the bottom part of the foot, and save myself 3 sheets of paper while helping out the environment. Anyways, now that it's all done, I'm ready to cut it all out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and trace out my image to a piece of cardboard. Next, I will be cutting 2 outlines. Okay, so right here I took one of the outlines and then I put some cardboard all around the edge. I am now taking the last piece and I'm just gonna bend it so it could be easy to bend, and I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue it around the piñata. Once I am done, I will be adding the other layer on top, and this is just a little sample so you guys could see how it's done. But yeah, I do always make it about 4 or maybe 5 inches thick, depending on how thick I want my piñata to be. If you do not have a hot glue gun, you can also use tape.
This really thick ribbon, I went ahead and put it into here and then reinforce it with some cardboard, tied it, and then I put it back out, and then I'm gonna go ahead and leave them out so that I can wrap it around the piñata after. So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and cover up my Pinocchio, and add the lid like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue it on.
So I did add the string right before sealing the full piñata. Now I always use ribbon just because I think it looks a lot nicer than just having any other type of string or the wire that piñatas usually have. And now I am putting the top of the piñata with some hot glue. I'm gonna go ahead, seal it, and I will be wrapping the leftover string around the piñata. This is gonna help it support the weight of the candy. I also went ahead and add some tape, wrapping it around the piñata to just make sure that it's completely sealed and it won't open easily. Now I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce this piñata by adding some newspaper with Engrudo. If you guys do not know what Engrudo is, it is pretty much like a mixture of water with flour, creating this paper mache. And we're gonna go ahead and add about 3 to 4 layers depending on how strong you want your piñata. You add the layers. I do focus more on the edges rather than the center because the center of the piñata is already pretty strong with this cardboard. Another thing that I want to mention is that you can easily skip this step of paper macheing your piñata if you're doing it for less children or you want it to break fast. But since I like my piñatas to last, I always add it. This is how it looks like once it is completely covered and dry. Now we could go ahead and move on to decorating. Oh, and one last thing, if you guys don't know how to make paper mache, my Engrudo video will be linked down below for those of you guys that might want to go ahead and watch it. So now let's really get to the decorating part. I always start off with the back side of the piñata because that side doesn't really have that much details. So I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much cover it all up with red French paper. Sometimes I do add a layer of white regular printing paper just to give it a more polished finish, but this was kind of like a rush order. The only difference is that I'm gonna have to put my layers of paper closer together. Now I did go ahead and painted the face. Whenever I make my piñatas, I do use different techniques. For this one, I'm gonna go ahead and paint the face and what's gonna be the arms and legs, the wooden part of Pinocchio. I did struggle a little bit with the color, so as you guys can see, it looks a little bit pinkish, and then I decided to go ahead and mix it all over again and create another tone, so this one looks a little bit more like Pinocchio. Now I can go ahead and paint it and continue with my piñata. Once it dries, I can go ahead and start adding more details onto it. So go ahead and cut out the Pinocchio image that you printed and just cut out the different parts and decorate it on top. I usually decorate it on the piñata, but this time I decided to go ahead and do it on the sheet of paper. And since I am saving that image, I just went ahead and kind of drew the shape of the feet, and I am taking some tissue paper. I did cut it in strips, and then from there I turned it into a little French. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it up, and these are going to be the feet. So later on, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it onto the piñata once the feet and every other part of the body of Pinocchio, whether it's the sleeves, the hands, are done. I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it in place. This is going to help me. I found that it's gonna help me move a lot faster than doing it directly on top of the piñata, because sometimes you gotta be really careful as of like to where you place your paper. So yeah, once I do this, I'm just gonna go ahead and continue. And as I said, I am using different techniques, different materials. So right here I am going to do the sleeves, the yellow parts that Pinocchio has, which are the sleeves and the hat. This time I am just cutting this little strip, and by applying it on, I will be pinching it and creating a different effect. I just really like adding different stuff to my piñatas. I feel like it makes it pop rather than it making it seem kind of like just simple. I am going to be using white paper to create the fringe for this part of the piñata, which is I believe it's like the collar. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's a thing around his neck, which is all white. So I'm gonna go ahead and, as you guys saw, cut the fringe and then just glue it on there. In the bottom part, the background is going to be green, and I'm using a brush just to flatten out the edges and make sure it looks more clean and crispy. I am also using some fabric to create his clothing. As I said, you can use any type of materials that you like. Be creative, even glitter for your piñatas. And I just had this fabric in my closet for a very long time, so I decided to incorporate it onto the piñata.
I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the fabric for the body, and I'm gonna go ahead and start drawing him out on the skin parts, or wood parts actually.
So now I'm going to take a marker and I am going over the painted parts, just adding those details for the legs, the arms, and the face, those lines that are making it look like a puppet, kind of a wood theme, well, more like a puppet. So as you guys remember, I did draw out the shoes and other little parts for the piñata. I am gonna go ahead and cut out the excess, and then I am just going to bring it all together and glue it onto my piñata. Just how I did the shoes, I went ahead and did the other parts for Pinocchio. I even went ahead and made the bow 3D, and just be creative. This is how the piñata came out at the end, while I added a couple of more details. Hope you guys did like and enjoy this video. If so, please consider subscribing or giving this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.